Hey guys, what's going on? BMcG here, and today we have a video on my Rank 2 Spider-Man Classic, and this guy's kind of a beast, and a lot of people are still kind of underrating him, so I decided to do a little showcase on him. I have this guy at Sig 40 currently. I got lucky with some dupes. Most of this footage, I believe, is Sig level 20 because I recorded it all like 2-something weeks ago. I've just been lazy and haven't really uploaded. So yeah, we're gonna start this video off in Realm of Legends against Captain Marvel because Winter Soldier has class advantage. Don't really want to showcase him against class advantage because his damage will be weaker, and a lot of people like to complain that his damage is not great, and I want to try to show you guys that he's actually pretty darn good. So what we're going to do here is do his normal rotation, which for long fights you want to do 2 special ones, and then what we're going to do here is launch the special 2 right under 3 bars of power. So we dropped a 36k special 2 there, no crit, which is okay, and now we are just going to do a full 5-hit combo, drop another special 2. That was 128,000. So now we're just going to keep beating this fight down, and yeah, she's done. So that was like, what, I think 350,000, 400,000 uninterrupted damage, meaning we could just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and couldn't do nothing. So pretty cool. Next up we have Absorbing Man in Battlegrounds. This is the unstoppable meta. I cannot remember if it was the Gladiator circuit or the Victory track. We'll see at the end of this fight when the results show up. But Absorbing Man right now, in my opinion, is probably the most annoying Mystic Defender. Other than like Rintra. Rintra's probably the most annoying without a counter, but Absorbing Man can spiral, and he's essentially a timeout if you don't have a good counter to him. Same can be said about Rintra, but I think Absorbing Man and Rintra are the top 2 Mystic Defenders right now, and Spidey is about to handle this Absorbing Man pretty easily. So the Unstoppable does not trigger there due to our Decelerate. We drop a heavy attack to get rid of his form, and now we do a combo into a special 2, 37k special 2, and now we just finish him out with some crits. He's stunned while he goes unstoppable, so it's really not that big of a deal. We just finished fighting him, and we ended up winning that fight here. So a lot of you guys are probably going to say, yeah, that was a rank 4 Absorbing Man against your rank 2 Spidey. So yeah, here's a rank 5 Absorbing Man, and it goes just as fast. That's the thing with Spidey, is if you rank him up, you're pretty much going to be punching down a lot, obviously, and he works very well against champs where you can punch down because the extra crit rate from the Challenger rating means more critical hits, and the extra combat power rate from the 7-star is actually pretty awesome. It's a huge difference from the 6-star rank 4. In Battlegrounds, you normally don't have to go for 2 special 1s. I'm just going for 2 special 1s here to get a full shutdown of the node. That way we could just play Absorbing Man normally and not have to worry about anything he does. So right here, we're going to go for the kill. I believe we're going to Striker right here. Yep, we go for the Striker. We drop our special 2. Boom, 54,000 damage, and now we just close him out with this combo. Another thing to note with Spidey is that Limber does not affect him, so his stun duration cannot be reduced. So he's actually really viable in Battlegrounds currently, and he's going to be amazing next season. But with the scoring changes, he's even better because he has great synergy with Inequity. It allows him to reduce the attack rating from the opponent, paired with his taunts, and actually a max Sig 6-star Spidey, I believe, can hit the Inequity cap, just like Cassie could. So it's really cool, or the attack rating weakness cap, that's what it's called. And yeah, it's just really cool utility there. But he's got like a jam-packed kit full of cool utility, in my opinion, that I think he's one of the more versatile champs in my roster. So long as I can stun them and place my debuffs, Spidey will cook, and he's pretty solid. Right there was a 67k crit against the Silver Surfer. The only reason I'm showing this fight here is because Silver Surfer is actually kind of annoying in that meta because he could refresh the unstoppable buff duration. But yeah, we still close him out in like 52 seconds. And then here's America Chavez fight that I do play poorly, But I did want to show you guys a fight where like you can still play poorly and still do well. But I know a point that a lot of people are going to try to make in my comment section of this video is that, yeah, you're using a 7-star rank 2, of course he's going to be good. And a lot of people said that when I was using my 6-star rank 4. And if you guys want to see that video, you can go back, check it out. It came out a couple months ago. It's one of my most viewed views on my channel, or most viewed videos on my channel. But the reality of MCOC currently, and I think it's going to be this way going forward for a long time, is that you will always have champions punching up, and you will always have champions that will punch down. There, like right there is where I messed up. The special 2 probably would have ended the fight. But what I'm trying to say is your top end of your roster is always going to be punching down, essentially. And a lot of people will rank up their absolute top champions. And that's fine. You could rank the best champions and have them at the max rank, but those champions are normally fine punching down anyways, so getting the extra benefit from the rank isn't as necessary with these champions. And I remember this discussion being very prominent during when rank 3s as 7 or 6 stars were becoming more common. A lot of people were like, well, these rank 2s are fine at rank 2. Who's someone who could benefit from that extra rank? And for some reason, a lot of people just stopped viewing rank ups like that. And I've never tried to get out of that mindset. And I think it's benefited me pretty well. And, you know, Spidey is a really solid champion. I think he was my second science champ that I duped as a 7-star. First one was Joe Fixit. And I like Joe Fixit. I don't run deep wounds. He doesn't really mesh well with my mastery setup. So Spidey was a clear choice for me. And I don't want to dump Catalyst into 6 stars anymore. I want to use rank up gems on my 6 stars. So everything made sense for me to rank up Spidey. And if he's going to be my champ that punches down in Battlegrounds, and maybe even War, because I've used him in War before, so be it. I think he's solid. He's pretty great, and he works pretty well. So I'm not trying to like sell you guys on my rank up. I'm just trying to explain my thought process to people, because a lot of people are like, well, the buff is bad, so if you like him, or if you use him, that just means you must like him, and that's it. So I made this little picture just to show you guys why I think that Spidey is a pretty solid champion. So some reasons why I rank Spidey. I genuinely love the buff, if you guys can't tell. I think he's a lot of fun. That's the most important thing for me in this game, is having fun, because it's a video game. I'm going to rank up and use what I find fun. He meshes well with my current mastery setup and the mastery setup that I've been running for like the last year and a half, that I don't plan to change because it's pretty successful. I run Despair and Inequity, to name a couple of those, and he synergizes well with those. So yeah, he's actually really tanky once you get him ramped, and those taunts plus Inequity can really reduce the opponent attack rating by a significant amount, which I think gets close to the weakness cap. The Spidey 2099 relic makes Spidey Classic immune to the precision buff from Dexterity, which is the only buff that he could gain like with his kit, if that makes sense. His kit has no buffs that he can gain, so the only one that you can gain through masteries is precision from Dexterity. You remove that, that means he's not gaining any buffs outside or from his own kit and masteries, which means the only buffs he can gain are from external sources, like Mojo or Man-Thing. But that's only if Mojo fully ramps and places the hater buffs on you. So he's actually a great Mojo counter now, because he doesn't have the precision from Dex, which means it's easier to really control, you know, Mojo, like the fight with Mojo. And this also strengthens his viability against just any other Mystic, because they can all benefit from Mystic Dispersion. And like I said, the only buff he could have gained was the precision from Dex. So pretty sweet in my opinion. I needed a champion with Decelerate ranked up, not for any like specific need, but more for my own personal like roster hole thing that I try to do. I try to look at my roster and see like, yeah, I have a hole here, I have a hole there. And Decelerate was one of those utilities that I didn't necessarily have covered, and he covers it pretty damn well. He has one of the best Decelerates in the game. Decelerate acts like slow, but ignores class clauses, so It works against skill champions, and it also counters evade the same way slow does, counters unstoppable the same way. I'm not sure if decelerate works against champs like Dr. Doom. I still have to test that. But I also needed a strong taunt champion. Currently I'm Cassie at rank 5, but Spidey's taunt is like his bread and butter. It's like the main part of his kit, paired with his like physical vulnerability from his special 2, but that's also affected by his taunts. So it's safe to say that taunt is Spider-Man's main gimmick, essentially. And, you know, it's kind of fitting for someone like Spider-Man who does a lot of smack talk, because, you know, taunt's pretty fitting. But he also has the strongest form of taunt / AI manipulation in the game right now. Well, taunt meaning the AI manipulation part. He doesn't have the strongest weakness from the taunt. But, like, with 2 taunts on the opponent, if you open yourself up, you're essentially guaranteeing a special from the opponent if the AI thinks they have an opening. That's the important part, because, like, you can think that they have enough time to throw it, but if the AI doesn't think they do, then they're not going to throw it, which means it's really hard to say, like, this guarantees the opponent will throw a special. But it's been pretty damn reliable in my opinion. I don't have to bait specials often with Spidey, because they just throw them. Like, I finish a 5-hit combo, and they throw a special. I could hit them with a heavy attack, knock them down. The second they get up, let's throw that special. So it's pretty cool stuff in my opinion. Continuing on from this, in my opinion, he's arguably one of the best questing champions in the game for speed, believe it or not. Spidey ramps his damage in a unique way, and that's by lowering the opponent's physical resistance below 0 and lowering it even further. Physical resistance is one of those weird stats that I'm not really sure scales with diminishing returns if you go lower, if that makes sense. Because if you go up, you have to keep going higher and higher and higher to reach close to like 100%. But you can go lower than 100%. You can go like 200% or 300%. So physical resistance is one of those weird stats in this game that scales weirdly, but physical vulnerability, I believe you get like a flat benefit for each physical vulnerability on the opponent, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can try to explain it, and the best way it makes sense. But when you pair this physical resistance lowering or physical vulnerability with extra attack rating or critical damage rating or prowess or armor break or literally any other form of damage modification or multipliers, even more physical vulnerability, his damage on the special 2 and during the special 2 stun will skyrocket. Like, I'm not even joking with you guys. He has certain ways that just, the special 2 and the stun from the special 2 is an insanely strong damage mechanic. So not only does your special 2 deal an insane amount of damage and is open to all kinds of modifiers, the damage you do afterwards is, you know, works the same way, other than prowess. Prowess isn't going to affect your basic hits. But, like, let's say there's trauma active, like on nodes or something, and each hit you deal does a burst of physical damage. The special 2 and its stun will amplify the trauma damage you deal. And most champions can't do that unless they have physical vulnerabilities built into their kit. But he also can benefit from attack rating increase. It's pretty cool. And I can show you guys later in the video. I don't want to talk about it too much just in this bullet point, but he also has enough AI manipulation to keep the fight moving reliably with his taunt, which means opponents are throwing their specials, so things are always going to be moving. He also has a really potent suppression, which will limit the amount of specials the opponent can throw. He has up to 100% potency on his decelerate, which ignores unstoppable from all classes, as well as evade from all classes. He has a pseudo heal block with despair. He can get close to the inequity cap with max sig. Granted, that's not really practical with my 7-star because he's only sig 20. And with a relic, he can do 2 special 2 stuns uninterrupted, which without like damage modifiers from nodes can be like 500,000 damage to 700,000 damage depending on crit luck. So he's pretty sick, and he's pretty good, and I hope these clips afterwards show you how good he is. So next up, we're going into Act 8. We have this Venom pool here. All these fights that I'm going to show from this point on, I believe have no synergies. I'll show you guys the team and the nodes before every single like start to the path, and you guys will see the team. And I'm not gonna be slimy and like cut out me throwing in synergies and redoing the quest. Like I really can't be bothered to do that. So yeah, all this is gonna be no synergies. I'm not trying to fool you guys. But this will all be Spidey interacting with the unique damage modifiers from Act 8. So when I was doing Act 8 originally, it was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it, surprisingly. But I used Spidey in like every single quest. There was like 1 or 2 lanes per quest that he absolutely demolished. And this was one of them. This is stun vulnerability, and like Venom Pool's gone in like 50 something seconds. I think it was actually like 48. The next fight after this will be Ultron with the same nodes, and like this is kind of like the point I'm trying to get at. Like, oh look, we have Ultron here. He's annoying and he evades. Turns out Decelerate can't really stop his evade, so you just have to play around it. But like, this is kind of what I'm trying to get at. You'll be on this like path or whatever, right? And they've got some cool nodes, and the nodes you can use anyone for. But there's stuff like, oh, this champ evades. Oh, this champ has unstoppable. And it's like, well, Spidey counters that, and then he counters that, and then he has suppression that makes him throw specials less. And he can stun lock for 2 straight special 2s, which is like 20 something seconds. So yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and like right there, like just massive damage. Like a 200 something thousand special 2. Granted, it's stun vulnerability, but he has stun on his special 2, guaranteed stun, that scales with the amount of taunts on the opponent, which lowers their physical resistance by a certain amount per taunt. So pair that with the extra damage that you get while they're stunned. It's just a recipe for a good time, and yeah, it's a really solid place to use your Spidey Classic. A lot of these weapon nodes are like really good for him because he can interact well with like the nodes. And like the sad thing is, like, we're in this current state of MCOC where everyone only wants to use the best of the best. They look at the tier list and they say, yeah, we're using the top tier only. I'm only using what's meta in Battlegrounds right now. And it's like, that's, for me, such a boring way to play. And if you guys don't want to play using unique things and trying different things, that's fine. But like, don't knock me for doing it, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people gave me flack for like really enjoying Spidey Classic, and like, these videos are just me showing you guys my experience in MCOC, trying to have fun, and just trying to share it with you guys, spread some knowledge. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And a lot of people give me crap for it, and I'm just trying to explain my thought process, so if any of you guys want to learn from it, go ahead. This node combo here is absolutely insane. I used Spidey for it as a 6-star rank 4, and I knew I needed to come back here when I got the 7-star at rank 2. This is Power Shield 2.0, and you deal more damage using special attacks because it's Power Shield, but you also deal more for each bar of power that you spend. And then the weapon nodes and stuff, not really sure how it all works, can't remember off the top of my head, but boom, 640,000 special 2 with class disadvantage. Nice shit. So I think you disarm them by applying 4 debuffs, yep, and then you intercept to get the X gene, and then that will start giving you prowess. Not entirely sure how you get the prowess, but yeah, you just, stack up these prowess with Spidey, drop this big special 2, we're just trying to get as many taunts as we can, boom, he's gone. Really solid stuff. And a lot of you guys are probably like, oh yeah, any champ could do that with this node. I think Pastor Coco, Subpar Summoner, he's on YouTube, he's a cool dude, awesome guy. He posted a video using his rank 1 Sunspot, granted mine's a rank 2 Spidey, but the same exact fight, same amount of prowess, his Sunspot didn't even come close to hitting the amount I just hit right there. So that's kind of what I'm just trying to illustrate here, is that Spidey has unique ways to increase his damage, which means that it's not going to overlap with existing ways to increase his damage through nodes, if that makes sense. So like, prowess for a champion with prowess isn't going to do as much as a champion with attack rating, and then they get the prowess. They get a bigger benefit. Or like champs with native crit damage rating, like Corvus. It scales with diminishing returns. If you give him more crit damage rating, it's not going to feel as important to someone like someone who gains all kinds of attack rating. I'm not going to, like, I don't know how to name one off the top of my head, but like Spidey lowers physical resistance, so if you give him more crit damage rating, those two things are both going up in terms of damage. Oh, I'm not even paying attention. We're on a new fight. This is the trauma nodes that I was talking about, where you disarm the weapon and then you start placing trauma debuffs. That allows you to deal bursts of physical damage on the opponent. And the Special 2 allows you to just absolutely multiply the damage that you could do with the trauma debuffs. So yeah, it's just some really cool ways that like you can manipulate his kit into working well for nodes. And like, not many champions can do what he's doing on this node, on this node set. And I don't know, I feel like we're in this point where everyone's just like, yeah, I'm only using the top of the top for Battlegrounds, and I'm just gonna disregard normal questing champions. And like, I get it, that's fine, but like, I really enjoy story content, and it's some of the most enjoyable content for me. That's why I always go back in these damage, or in these like champ showcases, I go back to story content to show you guys practical uses of these champions. And you know, I'm probably just rambling at this point, but yeah, I think he's really great. I'm biased because I do enjoy the champion, but I've just had so much fun finding ways where his kit works amazing for certain nodes in story content. Right there, we don't have any trauma on the opponent while we drop that for a Special 2. But we're going to have some for the next Special 2, and it's going to get kind of spicy here. Right there, we dex that Special 1. Right here, I think we're just going to go for... Oh yeah, there we go. We wanted to get more taunts, so there. 400 something thousand burst on our Special 2. Really solid stuff. I just think it's cool. I think he's got such an open-ended kit. It's really cool stuff to me. Next up we have Loki. This is some more Act 8 stuff. And what are these nodes here? Contagion. So yeah, you get a bunch of attack rating from the node, and this will scale well with his Special 2 and his Special 2 stun. So you essentially get poisoned, and then when you parry Dex, parry or Dex, you get rid of those poisons, you purify them, or no, you don't purify, you just remove them. And then it turns into Fury passives. And these Fury passives get pretty juicy. And right here, we're just going to ignore the Special 1 and just go for Special 2s. And we're dealing some really solid damage there. If I went Special 1 into Special 2 here, I probably would have been able to close the fight out in one cycle. It's not the biggest deal. It's still going to be plenty fast. Go for the Striker, go for a combo, and he's done. So, pretty quick fight there is like 40 to 50 seconds, and that's what I'm trying to get at with Spidey is like, in questing content, this is the latest content. This is Act 2. Or, not Act 2. What are we in, 2014? Act 8.2, I think. Is that the latest one, or is it 8.3? I think it's 8.2. Regardless, it's the latest story content, is what I'm trying to say, and then I'm stumbling over my words over. And he's doing absolutely amazing in it. And he's always been one of my fastest champs going through this. You know, there's champs that you can force to use on here, yeah, and take twice as long, yeah, that's fine. But I enjoy finding the fastest way to complete content. And he does a solid job. Right there, most champions would die from that Special 2. He tanked it because he had a couple taunts on him, reducing his attack rating with Inequity and the weakness from the taunt. And now we're pretty much just going to pummel this dude down. I don't know why I threw the Special 1 there. Oh yeah, because we had a bunch of attack rating and it was going to amplify our damage. But next up we've got Mojo, and like I said, with the Spidey 99 relic, he's a great counter to Mojo himself. So, you know, we can pretty much just ignore some of his prompts. We don't want to give him 5 prompts. It's never a good idea unless you're buff immune. But you can fail a prompt and then he's back at 1, and yeah, be pretty much good to go. So right here we go for a 5-hit combo into, I thought we were going to go for a Special 2. We're doing the little trick here that I talked about. Go for a Special 2 just under the Special 3, and then this will allow you to pretty much get to a Special 2 with a Striker, Drop the special 2 here, and boom. 274,000 damage. Really solid stuff. So, pretty cool. He works well for that. And this last lane that we're taking has Armor Break. And Armor Break plus Physical Resistance, if you guys haven't guessed it yet, is pretty good time. It's pretty solid. A lot of champs have native armor, so these armor breaks are removing that native armor, and the physical vulnerability that we get from the stun on our special 2 is taking that into the negatives, so they have negative armor rating and negative physical resistance, and we go boom. So yeah, a lot of damage there. And you know, next up we got Captain Marvel. This one's gonna be just as fast, and there's like 4 other lanes in Act 8 that he does this fast, and he could take pretty much all the fights on these lanes as well. If I had more time, I would probably do a full like Act 8 showcase, but I don't have the time anymore, and that's why these uploads are becoming so few and far between. I'm just not as motivated. Sorry guys. So yeah, hopefully I get back into it, but I just wanted to show you guys like my experience with Spidey in like Act 8 and Battlegrounds, because he was great for the last meta, at least the Unstoppable one. And yeah, next up we have the Sentinel. This is a longer fight. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of close out the video with like some last thoughts. You know, I think he's a really solid champion. I think his reception was honestly screwed from the start, because when Kabam gave him to us, he was bugged on the content creator program. So you guys were all seeing like Sig 0 Spidey, like actually like negative Sig is what it was, and we all had him at like 6-star rank 4 Sig 200, but like the Sig wasn't actually working. It was actually working against him, I thought. So it was just unfortunate from the start. That's why there's embargo dates on buffed characters now, so there's time for us to test, let them know if there's any bugs, that kind of thing. There haven't been lately, but you know, it's just better to be safe than sorry. And yeah, you just gotta or what was I gonna say? But yeah, he kind of had like his reception tainted from the start, and a lot of people just now choose to hate him because he's not overpowered like other buffs that we've gotten. But I also think that's fine. We don't need overpowered buffs every time we get a buff. They just need to be better than they were before. Granted, significantly better, and I think he's significantly better than he was before. But like, a buff character, if they get a buff and they're better, I think it's a win. It's better for the game. So, that's all I have. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit like, sub if you're new. If you already subbed, you know I love you. See you guys for the next video or stream. Peace out.